Hello, my name is Don Wick, and on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Skagit County, I would like to welcome you to this candidate forum. I will serve as the moderator. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization. We do not support or oppose candidates. We encourage the informed and active participation of all citizens. Membership is open to men and women of all ages, and we invite you to join us. We acknowledge the candidates joining us for this forum, and we appreciate those of you viewing this. We hope you will learn more about those who wish to represent us. Each candidate will be invited to make opening and closing statements of 2 minutes. Community submitted questions reviewed by League members have been provided to the candidates. Each candidate will have 1.5 minutes to respond. Time may prevent asking all the questions presented. We welcome candidates for the Office of Public Utility District Position 1. The Skagit PUD is a municipal corporation governed by 3 elected commissioners who serve 6-year terms. The district operates the most expansive water system in Skagit County with over 26,000 metered services, serving approximately 70,000 people, an average of 9 million gallons of water per day. The commissioners are charged with enacting policies regarding this vital resource. I'd like to introduce the candidates in alphabetical order who will appear on your ballot for this race. Kenneth Goodwin and Andrew Miller. Our timer will be tracking the time, which begins with green as it counts down, turns yellow when 15 seconds remain. When it turns red, time is up, so please stop talking. We ask that candidates be respectful of the time allowed. If you speak beyond the time limit, your microphone will be muted. We will begin with a 2-minute introductory statement from each candidate. Candidate Ken Goodwin, would you please unmute yourself and begin with your opening statement?
Thank you. My name is Ken Goodwin, and I'm running for the commissioner for the Skagit PUD because I believe that you need to have clean, safe, and reliable water at the lowest responsible cost. I'm running because I have an interest in public service. I currently serve as your commissioner of the Port of Anacortes, but I'm going into the municipal water arena at the PUD because I have had over 17 years of experience as a commissioner of the Woodinville Water District and as a director of finance for the Alderwood Water District for 12 years, and they're the largest water district in the state. My experience, I think, is going to make a difference. There's nothing more important to you and your family than open up the water and have it safe and clean. And I think my experience and history will lead the PUD into the right direction. Not only do I have experience as a commissioner running a water district, but I've also been involved in state issues as a vice president of the State Association of Water and Sewer Districts, working at the state level on policy. I've also worked with the county in King County on developing water systems and establishing water policy. So I think I'm a candidate with an awful lot of experience, and I think I can do the job for you.
Thank you very much. Candidate Andrew Miller, would you please unmute yourself and begin with your opening statement? You have 2 minutes.
Thanks, Don. Yeah, my name is Andrew Miller, and I'm also running for PUD Commissioner. And I'm really excited for this opportunity to share some insight and some opportunities that I think are really ripe for our community. We, as a community, everything that we love about living in Skagit County, really, you can trace back to water. And that connection that we have to water is really similar to the connection that I feel like I could bring to this role. I grew up here in Skagit County, playing in the forests and fishing in the rivers and working in the fields. And as a local business owner and as a farmer, I really, I've got the dirt and the water in my blood. I'm excited about the opportunity really to continue to connect. And I think throughout this campaign, one thing that has really become apparent to me is that it's our community also is rallying around this opportunity, and we need a PUD commission that is really locked in on the needs and the opportunities across the entire community, from Marble Mount Anacortes. And I think it's really to move forward in a direction that is equitable and is really centered in what matters to us most. We really need powerful partnerships, and we need to decide what's most important. And we really need to expand the role of the PUD Commission to be champions for quality of life as it centers around how we can use the water that we have. And I think that's really a critical aspect as we move forward. And so it's really, I think I bring a connection to the community and an understanding of what it's going to take to not just run the PUD well now, but in the future.
Thank you very much. In this next section of the forum, we will move to the responses to questions which have been reviewed by league members and provided to the candidates in advance. Each candidate will be asked to respond to the same question as they are called upon. Now, for the very first question, as a reminder, you have 1.5 minutes for your answer. First question goes to candidate Miller. As part of the strategic planning done by the PUD, what role does and will the PUD play in preserving access to water for our agricultural farmlands?
The ag water is really interesting. It really comes down to two things. It's access and cost. And we need to make the decision as a community and really as consumers. So there's two sides of this coin. One is what the PUD can do. And the PUD really has there's a right and a left on this. The PUD can provide piped water, which is the current approach. That's what's in the strategic plan. And there's also an opportunity to share or relinquish, not relinquish, but to swap a water right. And that is, it's in the playbook to be able to do that, to provide water to farmers when they need that. If we want to keep farming in Skagit Valley, we need to keep the costs low. And I think, so what we need to do is really dial in who can pay for what. There's also an opportunity to champion a whole host of other solutions that are not PUD centric, but for which the PUD needs to be involved in those conversations, as far as making sure that the dike and drainage districts are on board with when water could be released. And it's really, I think by having the PUD at the table, it really becomes a community conversation about what are we going to do with this critical resource to maintain a quality of life that we can all agree is central to how we want it to be in Skagit County moving forward.
Thank you. Candidate Goodwin, same question. As part of the strategic planning done by the PUD, what role does and will the PUD play in preserving access to water for our agricultural farmlands?
Well, they're going to have to continue to do what they've been doing, working with the other government entities and planning and finding the proper balance between the consumption and the availability. What we're dealing with is a problem that has been going back for centuries. Western water law has always been in play, first in time, first in right. We are hampered by U.S. Supreme Court decisions on what we can do with water. There are state Supreme Court decisions. The legislature has dictated things. This is really something that the PUD is responding to. Any one commissioner is going to have a real tough time trying to come in and supply water to everybody that wants it. It's a limited resource. The tribes have their needs. The fish have their needs. The people have their needs. The farmers have their needs. Developers have their needs. All of these things are competing for a limited resource that's even getting more limited. We've had droughts in the last couple of years, and the PUD has been able to coordinate water with Anacortes for the farmers, but it's on an ad hoc basis. It's not permanent. The PUD can take a role in working with the other agencies, but it's not going to be able to solve the problem on its own. It can only be a participant in working on these issues.
Thank you. The next question comes right back to you, Candidate Goodwin. What are your specific thoughts about the partnership between the PUD and the Port of Skagit County in the vital expansion of fiber optics?
Well, it hasn't been any more evident than this last year that fiber optics are absolutely a necessary thing. With COVID-19 and people being sheltered at home and having to learn at home, everybody needs to have affordable access to that. This is a good partnership. the port has access to grant monies and it has access to economic development monies. And the PUD has the pipeline, and they have lines that they're going to be developing, and they can put the backbone in. Now, the PUD is hampered by state law in a bit in that it's a wholesaler of internet, not a retailer. So when the backbone is established, then there'll have to be a relationship with internet service providers that will provide the retail to the individual customers. But this is really an important role for the PUD, and I'm glad to see that the port and the PUD are working together on this thing. They'll have good synergism together in terms of making this happen, and I look forward to being a part of continuing the process.
Thank you. Candidate Miller, same question. What are your specific thoughts about the partnership between the PUD and the Port of Skagit County in the vital expansion of fiber optics?
Well, in a word, it's outstanding. Really, these are the powerful partnerships that I think our customers and our community expect, where you have you have the superpower of the Port of Skagit, who has a responsibility for economic development, and then you have the authorities and the expertise of the PUD to step forward with infrastructure. So it's chocolate and peanut butter. You move forward in a way that is really complementary. The Port of Skagit, I've talked to all the project managers up there and port commissioners, and really just asked them, what more do you need from the PUD? And they said, we need you to not take your foot off the gas. We need to remain, we need to know that the commission is going to remain committed, because what they're doing is they're working with the private sector, and they're moving at the speed of the private sector, which is, that's what we need moving forward. We need, and that is part of the culture. And really, I think that's something that I'm excited to bring to the PUD, is that sense of urgency, and really saying, hey, look, this hasn't been done before. It might be scary, but it's the direction that we need to head, because that's the expectation that our community and our customers have. And by partnering and by developing those strong partnerships and using the trust that we have, I think we can get a lot more done. And telecommunications and fiber is absolutely critical to moving forward for business. And we need to keep the foot on the gas.
Next question, first to you, Candidate Miller. What is your role in making sure staff receive support and training, and that they are held accountable and effectively communicate as our county grows in population and diversity?
Well, this is a really straightforward one. As a commissioner, it's really important that the commission use and leverage the general manager as the focal point of contact, and not jump right into the to staff business. And really ensure that the general manager, and working with the department heads, is really organized, trained, and resourced to accomplish what it is that they need to do. And that's really in holding the general manager accountable early and often, and checking in and making sure that that the organization remains intact. And when things pop up, that they're addressed. And really, it's an issue of priority and resources. The other is there's the annual opportunity for department heads to come before the commission and articulate their needs. And that's an opportunity for the commissioners then to really get into the nitty gritty and say, here's what you need, here's what you think it's going to cost. And we agree that this is important and needs to be accomplished, and ask questions and at that time and really stress test some of the stuff that gets put forward. That's something that I've been a part of my entire career. And then follow back up with an annual review and say, hey, here's what we said was going to happen. Here's the resources that you got. What were the outcomes that you expected? What are some of the outcomes that you didn't expect? Let's continue to test and iterate so that we can accomplish the training goals, and that the accountability really is there. And then, publish those results to the customers and to the community.
Thank you. Candidate Goodwin, same question. What is your role in making sure staff receive support and training, and that they are held accountable and effectively communicate as our county grows in population and diversity?
Well, as you said earlier, commissioners set policy, and it's really a top-down situation. Commissioners, what I call, set the tone at the top. They are respectful to each other, they work cooperatively, and they compromise. And they treat the general manager and the department heads and the staff with that same respect. And when they do that and they demonstrate that, then the staff emulate that with their interaction with themselves and with the public and with the businesses that they deal with. It'll filter down and go into the community, and they'll see that these are values that we have at the commission level, and they'll be adopted at the staff level and be reflected with the customers. The commissioners can also make an impact through the budget. It's very important that staff receive training, and all of them should get an opportunity to have that. Also, they could have not only training for their particular jobs, but educational training where they can go to college at night or the daytime or something, and the PUD is in a position where it can fund some of that when they have the end result. So that's another program to help staff get trained. As far as the community and the diversity, it's important that the PUD reflect that diversity, and the population is going to change. It is changing, and the PUD needs to be a part of that, and its staff population needs to be reflective of that diversity. One thing that we did at Alderwood is that since we had a diverse population there, is we had a third-party linguist. And when we had somebody come in and had trouble with language, we could get them on the phone and be an interpreter for us. So there are things that we can do to communicate with the populace. Thank you.
Don, you're on mute.
Yeah, I've lost Don. I've lost you. Can you hear me?
Okay, question number 4.
There we go.
I got it.
My apologies.
Oh, sorry.
Small water systems currently exist in eastern Skagit County where future growth can be anticipated. What do you see as the role of the PUD as population and businesses expand in that area?
Who's starting with that?
Who are you starting with, Don?
Oh, I'm sorry, Kennedy Goodwin.
Okay. Well, the PUD doesn't decide zoning. That's something that's done by the cities and the counties. And the PUD has a duty to serve when the county establishes growth areas. What the PUD and the county and the cities do is they interact with plans. And the water system plan of the PUD is available to the cities and the counties, and they work together to see where can we put population growth, and is there going to be water and other utilities to service that growth. And if it's not going to happen, then you got to be careful about where you're going to put people. The cost of expanding a water system is expensive, and it'll be borne primarily by developers, but there's also a cost to the ratepayers. So the coordination between the government entities and the PUDs is vital. The GMA, the Growth Management Act, has if not say forced it, but those are the laws, and it makes a lot of sense to have the governments working together. And I've certainly done that over my history of the last 17 years.
Thank you. Candidate Miller, same question. Small water systems currently exist in eastern Skagit County where future growth can be anticipated. What do you see as the role of the PUD as population and businesses expand in that area?
So I think primarily it's going to be in technical expertise. The water systems in Hamilton and Lyman and Concrete that are owned by those towns, they do a good job of providing water there. There's not, and when they need help, they know that they can reach out to the PUD, and I think it's really important that where those systems exist, that they're supported and that they continue to provide that value to their customers as well. The PUD does have some systems further east up in Concrete, because what happens is a lot of times those age out, or there's a need that the PUD can step in and fill. I know from a business perspective, those can usually they're a measure of disrepair. They can be really expensive, but primarily, I think the PUD is really in a position to help shape the conversation about water. I know the people that I talk to that are upriver, if they've got water, they're satisfied with it, and if they don't have water, they're not. And if they don't have water, then it's really just a matter of, I think, leveraging the expertise that the PUD can provide, and using piped water out of the existing systems that are there. There's some redundancy that probably ought to be accomplished, and that's something that I think the PUD, from a policy perspective, might consider in providing to those existing water systems.
Thank you. This is question number 5. First to you, candidate Andrew Miller. One of the goals in the strategic plan addresses education. What are the plans to move that education into engagement in our communities?
Well, and I know I reviewed that in the strategic plan, and I know it was supposed to roll out in April, and the global pandemic got in the way. And I applaud the effort. I think it is leaning into the opportunity and the challenge of talking to people about where their water comes from. And I think people just, there may be an assumption that the magic water machine out there, you flip a switch, or and you flush your toilet or take a shower, and it's just there. I think we can only increase the appreciation for the good work that the men and women of the PUD do by helping people understand what goes in to clean, accessible, affordable water. And that is an approach that needs to be at the forefront, really, of the conversation with regard to what the PUD does. But I also think there's an opportunity for the PUD to step forward as the champion for water in Skagit Valley, to really help tell the story of the third largest river system on the West Coast. And this ought to be a point of pride for Skagitonians, to say we have so much water, and shift the conversation away from scarcity into one of abundance, to say, look, if we can manage this, if we could approach this conversation from one of abundance and of neighborly friendship, that we would all do well. Our lives would be better if we can shift that conversation. And that starts with education and engagement.
Thank you. Candidate Ken Goodwin, same question. One of the goals in the strategic plan addresses education. What are the plans to move that education into engagement in our communities?
Yeah, it's been really tough with the COVID this year, but the PUD's in a unique position with video and audio availability to them. I know that their meetings are on audio so the public can hear it, but they should go to video also. That's something I've experienced with the Port of Anacortes, and I think it works well for the people to see and hear their commissioners at work. And there's always the opportunity with news, the routine newsletters to publish things, but that's pretty limited. I think the best one is routine meetings with entities. We can't do it much this year, but we'll get back to it. And meeting with the cities and the counties and the chambers of commerce and explaining what's going on, meeting with the farmers groups and the tribes. All of these entities need to hear from the PUD, and the PUD needs to be a listener and hear from them and talk about some of these issues. Boy, there is a scarcity of water, and it's just going to get less and less. And with the statutes and the court opinions, it's really difficult to do anything with that. And if there's an opportunity to share, to transfer water, then the PUD ought to be a player in doing that. But it's going to be a tough road to hoe.
Thank you. This is our last question in the forum. First to you, candidate Goodwin, what unique skills and expertise will you bring to this role on behalf of the residents of Skagit County if you are elected?
Well, from an experience standpoint, and I think experience is important, like I said, I've got 20 years in the municipal water experience with the Woodinville Water District as a commissioner, 12 years as a finance director with the largest water and sewer district in the state. They had a budget about 5 times what the PUD is. I'm a budget expert, so all of these things are going to help produce a good result at the PUD. I'm also have done work outside directly with the PUD, such as working in the State Association of Water and Sewer District as their vice president. I've also spent 17 years on the board of directors of the Water and Sewer Risk Management Pool. They provide insurance, all forms of insurance to all the water, to over 70 water and sewer districts throughout the state. So I think that's a good combination. Also 40 years as a CPA, and I have an MBA from the University of Washington. But not only involved in these things, but I've also been involved in as a trustee for the VEBA, which is a health savings account for government employees in 3 states. On a local level, I've been a Chamber of Commerce president for 5 years in Woodinville, served on the North Shore School District Levy Committee, chaired that. Also have been a founding board member of the North Shore Education Foundation and the Cascadia Community College. I was on the Presidential Advisory Committee there. So I serve on committees for the community and professionally in the water industry.
Thank you. Candidate Andrew Miller, same question. What unique skills and expertise will you bring to this role on behalf of the residents of Skagit County if you are elected?
So experience is important, and I like to break experience down into knowledge, skills, and attributes. And really, I have a unique, I think in this race, knowledge set, the surface area of my knowledge in terms of it's not coming off the shelf or off the bench. I'm a small business owner. I'm a farmer. I have an intimate knowledge of our communities, all the way from Rockport to Anacortes. I did a couple of tours in economic development here in our community, and so I know very, very well the challenges and the opportunities that our community is facing. I'm a father of school-age children, so I understand intimately the education and the struggles with that. I have served on boards and been parts of focus groups that are working on challenges far and wide, from homelessness to workforce development. There's a lot that goes into our community working really well together. And I think really it is that connection. I'm a lawyer, I'm an MBA, but really that's not what our community really needs. What our community needs is leadership. And that leadership is about connecting and providing a way forward with a vision and a mission that the people, the men and women of the PUD can execute.
Thank you very much. It is time now for our concluding statements. Candidate Andrew Miller, you have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Well, I want to thank the League of Women Voters for this opportunity. It is an interesting year to be campaigning. It's actually an interesting year to be doing anything. I know I'm really excited about this race. I have just been so thrilled to spend the focus and have the time to connect with so many people about what it is that they love about Skagit County and about the water, and really about just learning more about what people's needs are and how we can organize, train, and resource the PUD to meet those needs in terms of the water. Someone asked me the other day what's something that has surprised me throughout this campaign. Is really, it has been that there's this legacy within the PUD of doing the right thing, and I think that starts from the staff and goes all the way through. And there's been some cloudy, there's been some rough spots, but at the end of the day, our community just rallies around what is really important to the community, and I think it really comes down to trust. And I think that this is an opportunity for us to get a fresh set of downs at the PUD. There's an opportunity to put some new energy into the things that matter most to us there, and really find some clean edges on the strategic plan, and make sure that the staff there knows what's most important, and that the commission can then turn around and really drive that dialogue across and throughout our community.
Thank you, Candidate Miller. Candidate Ken Goodwin, you have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Thank you. Public service is my way of giving back to the community. When I moved up here 8 years ago, I found an opportunity to work and serve on the Port of Anacortes, and I walked the community and talked to people, and I got elected to that position, and I've enjoyed it very much. This year, I heard that one of our long-term commissioners at the PUD was leaving, and that Aaron Bird was also going to be moving out of town, which took over 35 years of experience from the port and left 2 people that, while they have some governance experience, don't have water experience. So this was an opportunity for me to get back into something that I've had a passion for 2 decades. And to be back in the municipal water business is really is something that's really got my juices boiling. And I look forward to doing it. I think I can contribute to the commission in terms of helping them through this, and also with the PUD, with my experience and background, to make them complete and obtain their mission. It has been difficult to campaign in this environment. I know when I did a campaign for the port, I walked every street and talked to people. Here we're just having to do Zooms and flyers and other such things. But I look forward to the time when we can get back and interact one-on-one. And I think with my experience in the past and my recognized leadership, that I'll be a good contributor to the PUD and help them meet their mission and provide the folks with clean, safe, and reliable water at a reasonable cost. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Goodwin. Thank you to both candidates. This concludes our discussion. We want to acknowledge Mayor Jill Boudreau, the City of Mount Vernon, TV 10 and TV 26, and especially Candy Galindo and her team for their recording and technical assistance. Many thanks to Ed West, Vice President of the Skagit League, for his service as timer during this event, and to Kathy Ream, Voter Services Chair, and to the Ream studio we're broadcasting from, and thanks to her team for organizing this event. Thanks to Eric Johnson for his technical assistance, and a big thank you to Wendy Sanderson, President of the League of Women Voters of Skagit County. We invite you to learn more about these candidates by going to their websites and social media pages. Look at the vote411.org website, where participating candidates can place information for your convenience. You can find us at our website, www.skagitlwv.org. That's skagitlwv.org, or visit us on Facebook at League of Women Voters of Skagit County. We will repost the links to this on our League website, municipal and community pages. Feel free to send the links to others. Ballots will be mailed by October 16th. Please remember to sign the ballot and put it in a ballot drop box before 8 p.m. on November 3rd. If using the U.S. mail, remember the postmark is critical. Allow an extra several days for mail service, or use a handy Elections Department ballot box, which are located throughout Skagit County. Thank you for taking your time to view this broadcast this evening, and thank you so much to the candidates for joining us. Please vote and encourage others to do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.